on the next episode of AMC's The Walking Dead.
I can slow them down. Why? Because I want Negan dead.
What do you need from me?
You are gonna help make sure things get back on track tonight.
No one has to die.
You are wrong.
Ooh, that's hot. Good morning and welcome to the Season 7 finale of Walking Dead and Zombies with Coffee. Really got into this episode. I did not take too many notes, but it was good. It was really good. I was wrong about who I thought sold out Rick and all of his groups. It was not Gregory, but Gregory is not around. We did see that little snippet. It was in fact the Junkies, so they turned on Rick's group, but Negan did break their deal, or at least changed their deal. So I have a feeling that they might come back, and the fan theory that they might become the Whisperers is now maybe those wheels are turning in my head. I might have a little bit more validity to that. Still not 100% on board with that, but it could be a possibility. Now we start off with Sasha in a small confined space, and she's having these flashback scenes, and the faces she was making were a little bit suggestive. At least that's what I took from in the beginning, but we pretty much knew she took the pills. And it turns out that that's exactly what she did do. But all these flashback scenes are doing what The Walking Dead does best. They're humanizing a person so they can kill them. Her idea didn't quite go as planned, as we saw in the end. Negan is not dead, but we'll get to that. So the cut scenes are her going back and forth. She's hallucinating from the drugs that she took. The faces that she's making is, Eugene said he didn't think they'd be painless, so she's probably in a bit of pain. Now, if you weren't sure where she was inside that coffin the whole time, and we did see that a little bit later on in the episode, but we got a preview of that in one of the cut scenes from last week's previews. So we already knew there was going to be a coffin. I didn't catch it till after I filmed last week's episode of Zombies and Coffee. That's why I didn't mention it. But yeah, that was a little bit of a giveaway. We pretty much knew what was going to go on with Sasha anyway. She was going to sacrifice herself. We saw this in the conversation with Negan where she said no one has to die. And he said, oh, someone has to die. And he comes down to one, and she agrees to one person dying, and she was going to be that one person. So if you didn't pick up on that one person that Sasha agreed to, she was agreeing to it, and she was accepting that she was going to be that one person. Right then and there, she had 100% accepted the fact that she was going to take those pills and kill herself, so she could not be used as a weapon against her friends. One thing I thought was hysterical is when the Junkies are showing up at Alexandria, of course they're driving garbage trucks. So the Junkies, they live in a junkyard, they have garbage trucks. It was hysterical. But I don't know if they're going to use this later on. The Junkies all fled on foot at the end of the episode, and they left their garbage trucks. So now Rick has, I think, 3 garbage trucks, which are pretty well armed things. They're big steel garbage trucks. So they could potentially use those as roadblocks or maybe even large weapons against the Saviors in the incoming war. But of course they're going to drive garbage trucks. Why wouldn't they drive garbage trucks? I just saw that and I laughed. I literally laughed out loud. That was hysterical to me. I want to talk a little bit about Michonne and the Junkie sniper. So Michonne gives her the rifle, asks her if she knows how to use one. She nods. She tells her, we win. And then as she's leaving, she turns around and gives Michonne that smirk and says, we win. You knew something was up. Right then and there, I called that, yep, the fan theories I heard about the Junkies actually betraying Rick, that was going to be true. And of course, we almost immediately after that find out that, they disarm the bomb after Eugene gives his talk, and Rick tries to kill Eugene because now Eugene has officially turned. So I was also wrong about Eugene. I don't think there's an end game there. I think he's just scared and looking for protection and going back to his instincts of lie, lie, lie. Let the people that know what they're doing protect them. The one thing about after the whole incident starts taking place, after Sasha comes out as the zombie, almost bites Negan. Negan can't fight her off, but Negan's the strong dude. And then this other dude that's pretty big comes and pulls Sasha off and immediately gets bit. That was a little suspect. But the part that really got me was Carl was a badass by starting the whole thing and shooting a bunch of the junkies. That was great. But when the junkie shot Rick in the side and then kicked him off the tower, he still had his gun. He was probably in pain because he got shot and then got kicked off the tower, but he's still in his gun. He's not the kind of person that would just let her walk down or climb down that ladder and then come over and get him. He would have pulled out his gun and fought back. You see that he's still in pain. He's still in Negan's face saying, yeah, you can kill Carl in front of my face. Yeah, you could take my hands, but I'm still going to kill you. He still has that rage inside of him. So I find it hard to believe that he would have let her come and just capture him, even though he still has a weapon. He still has the axe on his hip when this whole thing is happening. So I thought that was a little far-fetched, and they definitely should have done something better to disarm Rick. Maybe he dropped his weapon, and I didn't notice it, but it looked like he never even pulled it out from his back, so it was probably still in his pants and his belt. But I thought that was a little cheesy. They should have did something a little more with that. Now we'll go back to the junkie, Sniper, and Michonne again. For a very short second, when Michonne was scoping out the junkie, Jana, I can't remember her name, the junkie leader, and didn't pull the trigger before she knew that the junkie Sniper was behind her, holding the gun at her. She didn't pull the trigger. For a split second there, I thought that was going to be a double cross, where Rick's group knew that the junkies betrayed them and the junkies were working with Rick's group, and it was going to be this whole web of lies thing. But then the fight ensued, and that didn't happen. The junkies were in fact working with Negan and the Saviors, and they were really there to just get their 12 of whatever, and then they settled for 10. And this is why I think the junkies are going to end up being possibly the Whisperers. In this whole betrayal, if you will, of Negan only giving them 10 instead of 12, I could see that as maybe triggering the junkies to do something down the line against the Saviors. That's where the Whisperer thing might kind of come in, because they don't, I can't remember exactly what their slogan is. They don't bother, they take. But if they amass a horde of zombies to just kind of direct and let them go out and kill whatever they want, that kind of falls into their slogan. So I could see them being angry that they got double-crossed on their double-cross with Negan, and maybe amassing these zombies as revenge. And then they find out that it's an easier way to live, because then they don't have to do anything. They just wear the skin of the dead and walk around. It's pretty gross, but that's what the Whisperers do. So that's the next threat. If you're unaware, the next threat is after the Saviors. We're still not done with the Saviors, but the next big threat after the Saviors is the Whisperers, then the Saviors again. But we'll get into that when we eventually get to that in the show. Going back once more to this fight with the junkie and Michonne, I was really surprised that Michonne wasn't like kicking this junkie's ass. Really, I thought that Michonne was going to be this badass and fight, and because Michonne is, and win easily, but it really, that would have taken away from what that happened at the end. We knew it was coming. They're fighting on a rooftop. One of them was going to fall off the rooftop. Now, we knew it wasn't going to be Michonne. Come on, if you thought Michonne was going to die, you're just losing your mind. We didn't lose a single major character except for the one that wanted to die, which was Sasha. But we saw that coming for at least 2 episodes now. Really 3, because she went into the Savior's compound pretty much knowing full well she was going to die. And then we have last week's episode where she's actually locked up at the Savior's compound and the mental torture that Negan is putting her through. And then we start with her scenes locked in a coffin. So that is the only main character that died this week. If you weren't counting, yes. Everyone else that Rick showed were just extras. They didn't show anyone else that we knew that had died. Even the junkies, none of the main junkies died either. Which were, I think there's only 3 main junkies. There's the leader, that weird looking dude, and then that other chick that looks like the leader. And I don't remember seeing her at all, but I'm sure she was there. Also, the Saviors didn't lose anyone important. Now, they let Dwight go in the beginning. Why didn't Dwight do something? I don't know, to be honest with you. Dwight had the power to kill Negan during the gunfight. He could have killed Negan and then went through with his plan like he said. Dwight then could have radioed back to the Sanctuary, informing them that everything was okay. He could have then taken Rick's group back to the Sanctuary, rallied the workers, and went outpost to outpost and ended the Saviors. But he didn't do that. He didn't do anything. We have Michonne fighting the junkie on the rooftop. Negan has rallied all of his troops and the junkies. He has everyone at Alexandria kneeling down before him. The battle with Michonne and the junkie is still going on, and we see a body fall. That's the inevitable thing. They're fighting on a roof. We know something's going to fall. We know it's not Michonne. Come on, if you didn't know if you thought Michonne was going to die, you weren't paying attention. So Rick thinks it was Michonne, though. So that I think is what really enrages him, to really say to Negan, you can kill him in front of me, you can take my hands, but I'm still going to kill you. You're already dead. I think that's really what pushed Rick over the edge. And then, of course, about to kill Carl. And then out of nowhere, a tiger jumps out and kills someone. Then we have the kingdom involved. And I'm thinking to myself, where's Maggie? Where's the hilltop? We knew she was going to make a tough decision. She was going to come to save them. And then, of course, then the hilltop comes around as well. They save the day. And a couple more of the junkies get killed. A few more of the saviors get killed. This whole melee ensues. And still, no one of importance dies. Not a single main character got killed. The junkies got away. Negan got away. Simon got away. Dwight got away. Those were the three main saviors that were there. I think that girl, I can't remember her name either. The Ragnog. Okay, that was a throwback to Vikings. But that one girl, she also, I didn't see her die. So we clear out the extras, shoot them, they're dead. The main junkies get away. Daryl climbs up on top of that. I think it was one of the garbage trucks. For a second, you're thinking, are they going to snipe off Daryl? Is Daryl going to die now? Is Daryl going to die? Are they going to take out Daryl? They didn't take out Daryl. Junkies closed the gate. They locked it from the outside so they couldn't go out and chase them. That was a smart move on the junkies' part. Or maybe that was part of the plan that the Saviors told them, because the junkies don't seem that resourceful. Then Rick goes over, finds out that it was not Michonne that fell off the roof, finds her beaten and bloody. Then we have a resolve. We show the sick bay, more or less, at Alexandria. We finally show the scene what Sasha and Maggie were looking at. It's a sunrise. You kind of knew that was coming, though. You kind of knew they're sitting outside the hilltop. You can see the hilltop in the background in one of the scenes. It was either going to be a sunrise or a sunset. And then we see Negan amassing his troops. So he pulled all the outposts in. So all the outposts are now pulled in. This is where I think Dwight is really going to have to shine. He's going to have to come through and start to convince some of the saviors that they need to follow him and not Negan. And I don't think that's going to be too hard, because Negan rules by force and terror. So if they realize that there's someone else that can lead them, that's not going to bash their brains in or throw them into a fiery hot furnace and melt them, yeah, they're not going to be too hard to sway from Negan to Dwight. So I think this is what we're going to see in the next season. We're going to see a lot of character building of Dwight kind of becoming stronger and becoming more of the leader that he's going to have to turn into. And he's going to start to sway some of the saviors in his direction. And then when the actual war happens, when the all-out war really happens, that's when we're going to see Dwight kind of shine, and he's really going to pull into Rick's group. So the figure that we saw Daryl find at the door at the very end, if he flipped it over, it was an army man. He flips it over and said it didn't know. That was a message from Dwight to let them know that he didn't know that Negan had pulled a plan with the junkies. So that was him saying, yeah, I'm still on board. I didn't know. I'm sorry. Please don't kill me, Daryl, by stabbing me in the eye with a knife that you're holding really, really close to my eyeball. That actually had to be a scary scene to film. I'm sure that knife was foam, but Norman Reedus was holding that, I think that guy's name's Austin, so close to his eye in that scene. That had to have been a nerve-wracking scene to film. That would have sucked getting poked in the eye with that thing. Again, I'm sure it wasn't real. It's probably foam or something like that, but still, that would have sucked. So my prediction is that Dwight is now going to shine a little bit and start to persuade some of the saviors away from Negan. The junkies may be part of this. I don't really see that being a big part of what's to come. Initially, I think it's going to come back around. We will see them again, but I don't think they're going to be a large part of what's going to happen in the coming, at least the first half of Season 8. So we're probably going to have, what, 6 months until we have Season 8, and then another 6 months until we have Season 8 Part 2. So I feel like the Junkies might come back around in the second half of next season, but I don't think we're going to see them much of the first half of Season 8. I think it's going to be slow, and everyone's going to complain. We're going to have a lot of character building, as I said, with Dwight and a few of the other people. We're going to see some more character shine, I think, between the hilltop. We're going to see the ultimate downfall of Gregory is going to take place, I think, rather soon. I think that's going to be the big drama for Season 8, Part 1's whole storyline, the downfall of Gregory, between Gregory and Maggie. I think that's going to be the big thing. And then I think the second half is going to be the war. We might see the Junkies come back up again. I think we'll see Oceanside show back up because Rick needs more numbers. Now Oceanside also wants to fight, at least some of them. So I think we're going to see a little bit more Oceanside getting involved, where they're going to get in the fight. That's going to help Rick get his numbers. Then we're going to have Oceanside. We're going to have the Hilltop. We're going to have the Kingdom. We're going to have Alexandria. And who knows, we might pick up another community or some more characters along the way. So, Gregory's going to go down, Dwight's going to go up, Oceanside's going to come into the fold, and then we're going to have a bloodbath. I will see you back here for Zombies and Coffee in June when Fear the Walking Dead comes back on. Have a good one.